Hey guys, I'm Justin here with CBI Off-Road. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be working on a 2020 Toyota Tundra, and we're going to be installing the Covert front bumper. Stay tuned. Okay, so our first step is we're going to remove the grill on this truck. So it's pretty simple. There's two tabs on the outside, and then there's four 10mm bolts on the inside here. There's also, once you get those loose and you start kind of pulling back on it, there's also those tabs that we just showed you. So you'll have to depress those tabs on each side, pull towards you and a little bit up to get the grill to release. All right, so if your vehicle has adaptive cruise control, you're gonna wanna pop open this little panel right here. It just pries straight upward and you can remove it. And then that'll expose this connector that you'll need to unplug to get the grill off. This connector's pretty simple. Just squeeze firmly on this back side and pull away and it'll come right off. Okay, so next we got 6 bolts here. These are 10mm head also, and that'll remove this plate. Make sure you hang on to your hardware because this will need to be reinstalled. Okay, so we removed the tire from this vehicle to make filming a little easier and better access, but you can do this install with the tire still on the vehicle. It's basically up to you. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to do this process. We're choosing, because we have a lift and plenty of personnel to help us, we're choosing to leave these plastic pieces bolted to the bumper. So what we'll do is we'll just take this clip out and loosen up the main bumper bolts and kind of lift it back, and that'll give us enough access to get in there to unplug all the wiring. If you're kind of limited on help and tools at your disposal, you're going to want to take this panel out. It's basically that same clip and these 10mm bolts, and that'll give you full access to the fog lights and any bumper sensors you have to unplug them. All right, now we're going to remove these 3 bolts that connect the skid plate to the bumper. That's just a 10mm. This truck's already missing one, so we're just gonna have 2 to pull out. All right, now we're gonna remove the main bolts that hold this bumper on. It looks like there's 4 on this side and there's 4 on this side. So those will need to come out to get the bumper away from the vehicle. Then we'll reach back, and as I mentioned before, we'll get all our sensors unplugged and then the bumper will be free. Okay, so we loosened up the bumper, and you can see it's loose, and we're able to kind of get it outward enough to reach back there and unplug our wiring. So 2 connectors on each side. One is for the fogs and one's for our bumper sensors. So we'll go ahead and get those unplugged and the bumper will be free. Okay, so getting these off, this lower tab, you want to push it down pretty hard and pull downward, and that should release it. So this connector is a little different. You want to push this tab up here and then pull downward. This is going to take both your hands, so you'll want to push and then pull it downward. Okay, so after you get the fog light unplugged, you're going to want to take out this little clip that holds the wiring to the bumper. Basically, you can just kind of reach into this hole right here with a pair of needle nose or a screwdriver and just pry it straight out. We'll just go on the bench. Okay, so we're going to take a couple minutes to talk about where you're going to need to cut for the Covert bumper. It's pretty simple cut, basically just following some of the factory lines. I've kind of indicated in Sharpie here, but you're going to come down in this valley right here all the way and then onto this little step. You're going to go across the step and basically straight across. This cut here might need to be adjusted once the bumper bolts in, but if you just go straight across, it's a safe bet, at least for an initial cut. And then repeat on the other side, real basic, down in that valley and across the step. All right, so we got our cut done. You can see it looks nice and messy, but we'll go ahead and take a sander and sand up to that line so it's nice and clean. I didn't cut all the way up to the steel here because we don't want to damage that, because this is going to go on with the covert bumper. So there's a 10mm bolt down here that once we loosen that, we'll be able to take this plastic piece out and just take a pair of dikes and just cut that last little bit of plastic so you don't use a saw and damage this chrome part.